Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I am your host, Francesca White, and welcome to Conversations with Fran. Thank you so much for your patience. I had a couple of technical difficulties, but I refuse to be defeated, and so I'm making it happen by any means necessary. Why? Because I have an absolutely amazing guest with me this evening that I am so pleased and privileged to share with my Facebook family, with my YouTube family, and as well as our mutual church family. Tonight's episode is being streamed live on our Holy Mount Calvary Church channel on Facebook. So welcome to the conversation. I felt that this would be more than befitting because one thing about my home church, we definitely support our own. And so tonight we're going to be talking with Miss Erin Gipson, new author of 2 amazing journals, thought-provoking journals that cause you to consider your ways, consider the amount of screen time that you are putting out there, the amount of time that you are spending with the world. But before we get to that, tell me about your day. Tell me, how did work go this week? Chime in, let me know that you can hear everything and that we're doing okay. Thank you for your comments, because if you knew how stressed out I was about 5 minutes ago, oh my goodness, that's the glow. Come on, in Jesus' name. I'm glowing for Jesus tonight, trying to anywho, so tell me about your day. I definitely have to put my banners in for tonight because, well, I'm using a new program today. So that's what it's going to be. And so you guys know I type pretty quick as I talk. And so we'll get to that. Always remember that you can subscribe to the tribe. And you can always 855-926-1026. Did she memorize her number? I think I did. But anywho, feel free to chime in. What do? You text tribe, you get an immediate response unless you know that you are now subscribed, so that you will get notified every time I go live. You'll get links to information, and eventually I'm hoping before Christmas gets here, I'll have some links to some vendors where maybe you can get a little bit of a discount or something like that. I'm going to work some things out because I definitely want my tribe to feel extremely special in that you have access to certain things, and I have some other products that I want to start introducing to you all starting next week. So I'm going to put our title in for tonight. And then I am going to bring our exceptional guest onto the screen so that you can meet her and that we can get this awesome conversation going. I'm definitely looking forward to it tonight. But I am going to be mindful of the time because, of course, we're a little bit behind, okay? All right, so this is episode 26. Can you believe? Season 2, episode 26. That means I have literally I'm close to almost over 100 videos that I've done on my own. I'm kind of all over the place about that, which then kind of makes me feel kind of bad about tonight, because I felt like I should have been able to figure a couple of things out, but when it's not your computer, it just makes it a little difficult. But I'm working with it. I refuse to be defeated. As my dad said on Sunday, I don't take no for an answer. That's it's all good, sidebar, because you know how I am. Sidebar. That was really, I can honestly say, out of this pandemic, some great things have come out. I've learned a new level. I have a fresh understanding of the level of respect that a lot of people have for me. And I'm truly appreciative, because I don't think so high and mighty of myself that anyone has to really give me a second thought. That it's a blessing if someone takes your thoughts, your feelings into consideration, right? And it's, the Bible talks about honoring your parents, but something has to be said, and I guess I need to search the scriptures a little bit more, but there is no greater compliment than you can receive than from a parent to a child. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how old you are. It's something about hearing your parents say that they're proud of you, or hearing your parents describe your personality, your character traits, and normally, we sometimes growing up, you get the negative ones because in an effort to what is it called? Negative reinforcement. They point out the negative and in hopes that that you'll begin to accentuate the positive. I know some of those have always been a little bit of, to me, when you say them out loud, they sound backward. But there's a such thing as positive reinforcement, and there's a thing as negative reinforcement. So, but the thing is, when you get to hear the positive things, I have heard a lot of positive things from my dad, and I hear things from my mom, but what I'm focused on right now, the ones that I've heard from him, and because my dad is really not a man of many words. You love him, okay? It is what it is. It is what it is. But when you get him going, you find out where some of my humor comes from, because he's quick wit, and tends to say what's on his mind. But sometimes he just keeps it to himself, because for one, like we don't want to go too far with our jokes and stuff like that, right? But I have to say, through the week, it has been encouraging to me. And I say to all that are listening, I don't care how old your child is. I don't care how old your children are. At some point through the week, let them hear something good, because I'm going to tell you something. You already know the world is cold. And the world never looks for, they're not just handing out compliments. You got to earn those suckers. So sometimes, even if you feel like, I don't even feel like saying nothing nice to you, still say it anyway, because you might be the only one that says it to them. So how do you want your child out there in the world? Feeling victorious or feeling like a failure? Choose your battles. Apples and oranges. Anywho, I started talking and stopped typing because the conversation got good. But anyway, so this is interviews. This is interview. I'll keep it plural. Interviews with authors. Part 2, featuring Erin Gipson. Okay, I think I've delayed this enough. I can do some more typing in a minute, but I at least wanted to have that there. I'm going to change my colors. What color should I be today? Do I feel black? Do I feel blue? Let's see, I got some kind of zhush fuchsia thing happening with the gold and the ooh-hoo-hoo. So, Holy Spirit, activate. That's what I didn't do earlier. If I had done that, probably would have got this stuff to work. Activate. Holy Spirit. Ooh, do I want to be pink? Let's be pink for the people. Come on, Pinky. My skin is glowing a little bit. Come on in Jesus' name. Wait till y'all see Sister Erin. Lord Jesus, today, boy, I don't know if I want to say deaconess. I don't. She is so fly tonight. I'm trying to tell you. Always a lady of decorum. Always classy. She really, I need you guys to know this. Okay, never mind. I'll do all of that later, because I'll get started and then she'll be like, oh my God, I don't even want to come on camera. Because she's so shy. Like, even right now, she's trying to hold her smile. And I'm going to make yep, there it is. She let it go. Oh, you guys can't see it, huh? Oh, too bad. Sucks. But anyway, all right, that'll work. I just really want to bring her out. So listen, look. Take a deep breath, Erin. Here we go. So, without any further ado, because I definitely want her to have her time to speak, to share, to give us all of the, well, not all of the nuggets, because you need to buy the book, okay? So you need to go to Amazon and get ready to purchase your book. But just to share her heart concerning how this whole idea came about. And we're going to touch on a couple of topics that kind of hone around it. But she is a wife. First of all, she's a lover of God. Okay? She's a lover of God. She is a wife. She is a mother. She is a daughter. She is a friend. She is an aunt. She is a church family member, beloved. She's a whole lot of things to a lot of people, but to God, she is his precious child. So please help me welcome with a very warm conversation. Oh, and she's a Conversation with Fran tribe member. So let's just get that out there. But anyway, please help me welcome the one and the only Sister Erin Gipson, author Erin Gipson. There she is.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited. This is
Oh
so
my
cool.
goodness. I'm
Yeah,
so
a villager and now I'm on the screen.
right, come on, somebody. I'm trying to tell you, anything is possible in this here life, I say. But I am so happy to have you here, Erin, to discuss hashtag heaven over hashtags. Did I say it right? Yeah, heaven over hashtags. I feel like I always flip it around because somebody asked me about it at work, and I said hashtags. Wait, no. Wait a minute. We don't want
Always a
that.
reminder to put it in the right order.
Wait a minute. Let's re. I felt like I was doing the Soul Train Scrabble board. Like whoa, reverse. No, heaven over hashtags. And you know how I was talking last week about there's no reason that anyone can't get this book and say they couldn't see the words. Cause baby, you catered to the cataracts. You catered to the glaucoma. Listen. Hold on. No. Tell me you can't see that says Proverbs.
Amen.
Y'all, wait, can I move? There we go. Yes, you can see that clear as day. That's Proverbs 10:12. There's no reason why anyone cannot
Use this
purchase this
word,
book
you will get it. It's
and be a
yours.
blessing. Even if you write ugly, just, the lines are big enough so that your letters can fit. She thought of everything. I'm trying to tell you, she really did. She really did. Aw, look at that. Yes, come on, Saints. Come on. Look at them. Erin, you look lovely from Sister Rest Forever Win. Here goes Sister White.
Thank you so much.
Everybody's here. Teacher Erin Gipson. Yes. Oh, goodness. Okay, so I'm glad the love is here. Oh, there's someone special on tonight.
Hi, mommy.
Absolutely amazing. So thank you all so much for welcoming our guest, Miss Erin here. Yes, she can. Erin can be a little louder. She can definitely turn up a little bit. Not a problem. All right, so let's get over into it, Erin. Tell me first and foremost, what inspired Heaven Over Hashtags?
First and foremost, shout out to my Sunday school class. This was something that I went with God on, and I took it on 2020 as soon as the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
And my babies, my personal biological babies, and my Sunday school class really showed me how much time I was not spending with God. As I prepared their
Mm.
lessons, I said to myself, "Wow, I have time to do this." And I was fitting the time in, and it's funny because you can pat yourself on the back for sharing, scripture and making it to Bible study when you make it. But
Sure.
really and truly, when you say, I don't have time for this or that, and then you find yourself doing something because you're going with God on it, and then He makes the time. That's what inspired it. The way that the children were really adhering to the message and the lessons was very moving to me. And I just felt the need to create something for myself and create something for the children that will hopefully connect them with God even more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that, for you to choose journal writing, how has writing impacted your life?
Wow. I've always loved writing.
Mm-hmm.
Even kindergarten, first grade, I used to write stories with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But as an adult, I've been trying to just at a small level, shout out to my high school teacher, Dr. Singleton. He was very, very instrumental in trying to teach us grammar and really pushing writing. But his thing personally to me was, Aaron, write your goals down, because he would always ask me senior year, what do you want to do? And I would be like, I'm not sure, I don't know. And he said, well, if you start to write your goals down, that will cement it in, that'll hold you accountable. You will be accountable to yourself. And you can have those private moments with God and really meditate on it, because he's a spiritual person. So, we could talk on that level, even though he was a teacher. Um,
Uh,
so that really was what it was. I've been always a lover of writing.
Absolutely. Okay. So then you begin the journal prompts with a lot of empathy and understanding towards the daily requirements and priorities people have, with using technology, for instance, their jobs, school, and it feels like you were slowly trying to, I don't know, like raise the bar of accountability or their mindfulness of how much time they're actually spending on the computer. So, how would you describe your approach to your first three? Like, what were you really going after with the first three prompts that you have there?
I truly modeled these journals after kind of the way that I was challenging myself. When my husband and I first got married, I don't think I realized how much time I was spending on Facebook until he pointed it out. And then I got a little defensive. So, and I'm gonna be honest about it, I could talk about my own, business, but I was a little defensive, and then I realized, I said, wow, I am spending a lot of time because I started. I don't know if you guys know, but you can look and see what your time is being, how your time is being spent on Facebook is in your settings. So I actually did that. And when I looked at it, I was like, okay, that's too much. And I knew the nonsense that I was doing, just scrolling and mindless scrolling. And it just, over time, it's tapered down. I still check every now and then. And for people that say Facebook is the devil, it's not. It's the way that you use it. And my
Exactly.
my defense is, I keep up with my family that way, but God has truly opened some things up in my mind to say, okay, think about the time that you're spending on here. Now, what are you doing on here? Now, many of you are my friends on Facebook. I may not every post, share a devotion, but trust me, I'm using that to bless other people. I give to GoFundMe. I, check on my family members because I realize I'm not speaking to my family members the way I should on the phone because I'm on Facebook.
Right.
And then I'm assuming they are okay because I'm looking at their posts.
Yep.
That means absolutely nothing in real life. So,
Yep.
I would take the time to now slide in inboxes and say, hey, how are you really doing? Since this is where we are. You have to meet people where they are. So,
Absolutely. So, all right. So I work with children with special needs, and along with working with children with special needs, I also service students that are considered atypical. And I have kids that are actually attending general ed classes, but they still receive RSP minutes. They're pulled out and things and such. One of the biggest issues that I had during the pandemic was the fact that I was unable to monitor or supervise their screen time as much as I could when they were actually on campus. There were a few more freedoms I was able to provide them, given the fact that I'm right there in the classroom. The position of my seating was where I could see all screens, so if something veered off or whatever, we can handle it. If someone picked pictures off of Instagram and we got word that it was being circulated, we could filter it and deal with it a lot faster. I did some research and I shared one of those articles with you from the Cyberbullying Research Center, where around May or June of 2021 of this year, they did a census, and it was specialized on students from the ages of 13 to 17. And you and I both know that cancel culture for adults, it's mainly been more so for adults with that phrasing, but cyberbullying has still been the thing, right? For elementary, middle school, high school students. I noticed in some of your prompts, you made mention of how do comments affect you? And my antennas immediately started going off. And now, mind you, I have the adult book. I don't have the children's book, right? So, I guess my first question is, do you have that same question in your children's book, or is it phrased
the
differently?
children's book is positioned a little differently and they get a scripture and then the activity is based on that particular scripture.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
activities are supposed to pull them away from the digital technology piece of it. So they are not so much trying to self explore.
Sure.
for the adults, but the adult books can definitely be for preteens, I think, on up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What would you consider your? Because if someone was thinking to gift this to, a teenager, like with the adult book B, would
Sure.
you consider it appropriate? Okay. Okay. So, what were you really kind of going after with those journal prompts? And the only reason I asked that is because it was similar to a question that a MFT or a counselor would ask a student during one of their sessions. So can you kind of?
Sure. Around, I want to say it was around Labor Day. One of my husband's friends came by, and he's actually a social media counselor, and they counsel adults, I think, and teenagers. I'm not sure what the name of the company is, but it just had me thinking. What exactly is going on with social media, cyberbullying, all of that. When we were growing up, Fran, it was different. When we
Yes.
talk about cyberbullying, I feel like the way that I look at that, you're carrying your bully around with you on your phone all day. You could at least, back in the day, your bully was at school, you could go home and be safe. But now, you go home, that bully is right there on that phone. Whatever is bothering you is right there on your tablet. Whatever is, haunting you, is you can't get away from it because the internet doesn't go off, nor does television. So back in the day, we would have maybe issues with things about us that we wanted to look differently because of celebrities or whatever. But just the everyday folks, there's no way for them to stop because again, the internet just doesn't stop. But those prompts are truly inspired by wanting for everybody to explore the time being spent versus how do I feel? Because even now you have adults, you have moms being influencers. They're trying to gain likes and exposure and make and monetize themselves. But how at
Yes.
the expense of what? Are your kids
Yes.
missing out on time because trying to monetize YouTube? I don't.
Now you raise a very good question with that, because I noticed another one of the journal prompts. Is how is your family affected by the amount of time? It just really just seems like you're really tugging at the accountability, tugging at the ability to be mindful of, is your time being well spent? And I think in a way it's kind of like pandemic rehab, if you would, because we spend so much time just sitting and and then for some, you make yourself sick because you're constantly watching they were watching the numbers for COVID. What areas is it fluctuating? People that have to travel for business, and so once again, the approach you took with being, first of all, empathetic of the fact that for some, your computer is your work, it's your life, everything you do is there. I mean, part of me, I feel like I took on a challenge. I didn't share this with you, but I took on a challenge because I knew I was going to be getting your book. The challenge that I accepted was the 8-minute challenge. And it's get up 8 minutes earlier and spend that time with God. And so I started thinking, I'm like, that kind of takes me back to, I said, well, it's a journal. So that took me back to being in 8th grade. As soon as we would come in class, our English teacher to kind of, whatever was at on our frontal lobe, get that off your brain. You have 10 minutes. And the more we performed that task, the longer our writings became in 10 minutes, which meant then when the teacher asked us to write a paper or something, we didn't stress out about writing a 2 or 3 page paper because we knew we could crank out paragraphs in increments of 10 minutes. But what it did, it gave me the opportunity to not sit with my phone in my hand, turn on, because there are some amazing 10-minute prayers on YouTube, scriptures of affirmation followed by a prayer. I'll turn that on, I open my book, I have my coffee, and I start writing. And I write or I read until that 10 minutes is complete. So that way I know I've had that time. One of the, but now you also, uh, you asked one specific question, and I've been very cautious of how I share the actual journal prompts because go get the book. It's $8.99 on Amazon. Purchase it tonight. The one of them, the only one that I'm going to quote says, "How did you honor God in your cyber life today?" I struggled with that, Erin. I can only speak for myself. I struggled with that because it was like, okay, how could I honor God? I mean, I'm trying not to be super churchy, which is why I loved your approach because charity begins at home. Love on your family, checking on your family. That's a way of honoring God because you're looking after your family. Like, okay, that's sweet. But I immediately thought of this post on Instagram where the person is sitting there and they're just texting. And it says that moment when you're writing a long post and then God speaks, take that down. Take that down. I'm honoring God by not being petty.
God has delivered me from that many a day. Yes, I can relate to that 100%.
Everything on the inside of me giggled because it was like, yes, that's me. The mere fact that I respect God enough to go, delete,
That's crazy.
delete. And it can be so hard sometimes because, Petty LaBelle in me feels like they need it.
100%.
This is God's will. You did it in front of me. You want me to get it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up and I'm gonna handle it. But no, but I deleted and it's just that's not what I'm the audio is that's not what I'm about. That's not what I'm doing in your life right now. Delete that. And it's once again that necessary accountability because you can be right. And my mom would tell me this all the time, friend. You are not wrong for how you feel, but you will be wrong if you speak on it. You'll be wrong if you say this or if you say that. And so, I guess this is more of a general question. How important is accountability in a Christian's life?
Huge.
And I know the preacher asking you the question, how important is accountability?
It's huge.
Yes.
Because your norm, it's easy to slide. What would the Christian say? We backslide.
Mm-hmm.
Backslide. So accountability is everything. If you aren't accountable to yourself, um, it's easy to ignore and say, I did what I was supposed to do today. I'll do it tomorrow. And if you share it with someone else, that gives you even more accountability to be accountable to
Yes.
yourself. But overall, our mission with these books is being accountable to God. So if you are really making a statement and saying, I want to change certain things about how I am online, you're you have to be accountable because that's the only way you can grow and mature. And God wants that from us, and He wants us to do more. He wants us to share. So that's all I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I expressed to you earlier that I noticed that some of the prompts kind of reminded me of conversation pieces that a therapist might use, with a student or something of the such. Um, have you considered have you considered expanding the Heaven Over Hashtags brand?
I have absolutely. Where it's
Awesome.
going, I'm praying and meditating with God on that because
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's
Yeah.
funny because the way that the self-publishing thing came about was Facebook. So I'm scrolling Facebook and I see this group, Six Figure Publishing Secrets with Crystal Swain Baker. And she
Okay.
is a very well-known children's book author. She does black children's books. Great, great lesson. So I said to myself, okay, so what am I going to do with this? I was enjoying the prompts. I did her 5-day challenge, and I said at the end of the children's book challenge, I can do that. I know I can do that. I want my babies to see themselves in their books. And the statistic that she shared with us was interesting. She said there are more animals in books than there are black people in children's books.
Whoa.
In children's books, there are more animals as characters than there are people of color, black people. So that was important to me. And I'm starting with the journals because I wanted to do something for God, and I wanted to do something that caused me to be able to spend time with my kids in this manner, because I want to model for them what I want for them to do for themselves. So, and during the pandemic, also, friend, to speak to what you said about your students, it's hard to teach handwriting in online school because everything, is digital. So the children's book does have the practice handwriting lines for younger
Wow.
students. So that
Okay.
that was the goal with that, and you can
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
so that was the goal there for the children to be able to not only, express themselves, but express themselves through art, express themselves in, expressing their hand muscles also. So
And that okay, see now the early childhood bees are going off. Oh my goodness. That you literally thought of everything. That was the biggest issue that I had. First of all, foremost, and shout out to all teachers, all forms of educators that survived the pandemic. High five to you, because we went in backward. We had no idea how long this was going to last. I'm going to be completely honest. I initially gave out packets of work because we really thought, okay, we're just going out for 2 weeks. We'll be back, and all of the lesson planning and getting everything together. I wanted stuff to look neat. I wanted it nice because I'm a very hands-on. I need you writing. I need you showing me your work with your math. And then we finish out a semester in virtually, and then they tell us we're going to do a whole year virtually. So when my students came back to class, their handwriting was that of 3 or 4 grades below. Spelling words and doing things. It was very tough because the majority of the students that I serviced during that time were middle school. My high schoolers did a little bit better because they were already comfortable with typing papers and having the majority of their assignments on Google Classroom and things and such. But it was very difficult to navigate. So the mere fact that you're going back to basics with this, one, making it a complete activity, and that's the joy of a parent becoming an author or being an educator because first of all, my mind immediately said that's at least a 5 or 10 minute activity. If I need to woo-saw real fast or just you're engaged, that's a 5 to 10 minute activity that is going to keep you engaged. You are going to learn something because you're going to pay attention and you're going to take your time because I'm going to ask you questions afterwards. No matter how simple the question is, I'm going to ask you about it. If I need you to make that B again or make that C again, let's make that a little bit neater. Let's use those lines appropriately because then you learn other things. I really wanted to make sure that parents understood how novel this is for them to have an activity for them to do, because I know that there are some parents that want their children to reduce screen time. There was a time that you did not put a computer in front of a kid in order to shut them up. You gave them a book. And I have to say, audience, Sister Gipson is a very strong mother. I've seen her in meetings where she's had to sit down for meetings. Her children are not just all over the place. They have activities. They have something that they can sit down and do. And it is, I'm being honest, it's rare that I've seen that, they just hand them a piece of technology to entertain them. Her kids pick up a book. Or if it's in rehearsal, her kids start singing. They're up clapping like church is happening. They're involved, they're engaged. So And I know for some that might seem a little old school. I appreciate it because we are who we are because of the exposure we had to things that were considered outside of the norm. So I definitely applaud you for that. And being
And that lady right there, that's the reason why. My
Miss
mother,
Johnson,
my mother
yes,
would say to me, and I said, my sister and I have a little bit of an age gap, so we weren't, sitting on the floor playing together. If I
yes,
was bored, my mommy would say, "Just a book. Go read a book. Read a book.
yes,
Go read a book." And we had a desktop computer. Oh, that's my nephew. My nephew. We had a desktop computer. I think I was 4 when we received the computer for the first time. So she would say, go write a story, go practice, go do typing tutor. That's the type of parent I am, and I'm not trying to knock anybody with
of
tablets
course not. I know you're not.
because
That's why I wanted to say it so that way it would,
my
yes,
kids have greatly benefited from that. But again, back to why I did the books in the first place. I put Superbook on their tablets, and I felt after I started to teach them in Sunday school, I felt bad.
mm,
Why? Because I put Superbook on their tablets, but I did absolutely nothing to help them digest it. So yes, Superbook has games. Superbook is great, but I was not sitting next to them. They were doing that while I was cooking or on Facebook or whatever. So,
right.
my whole thing with the books is that I have a book, you have a book, and we can do the activities and we can talk about it. So it's it's a blessing, even if it goes nowhere past but my front door. I still feel blessed, and I'm so grateful to anyone that has even thought to purchase the book. Even more
Yeah.
grateful for those that have purchased it, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Well, I wanted to suggest there's a website called Teachers Pay Teachers. And I think that would be a great avenue. It allows teachers to take different resources that they've created. I have a cousin who's also a published author, and she placed her items on there. She any type of games or interactive lessons, you can go in and purchase it. I definitely use Teachers Pay Teachers, especially when we started the Google Classrooms. I making those emoji classrooms and with Bitmoji. Yeah, that wasn't my calling. And so I found where a teacher had created 132 slides
Wow.
that you could pick from it can all completely put together to the very basic, and you just once you start learning how to build it yourself. Once again, only a teacher could think to do, because you're going to eventually learn how to do it yourself. That's Bible right there. I'm not going to give you fish. I'm gonna teach you how to fish. So I appreciated that, and it's fairly reasonable, but it's a great resource spot because like I said, there are a lot of churches, and I also want you to check on Word of Life bookstore on West Boulevard,
Yeah.
for possible because they definitely cater to local authors,
Okay.
and it's definitely something that should be available, because people are looking for activities. They're looking for things, because a big thing right now is life groups. You and I have talked about it a little bit about life groups, and possibly having some type of. I feel like this book gets the conversation started.
Right. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to
That's
try to be something that I'm not. I am not an orator. I am not a minister. I am
You
a
are,
child
but
of God.
continue. No, you are, but because I can. You should hear your pastor sometimes. Yeah, you are. It's she just you tend to leave him in awe. Like
Shout
she's
out to my pastor and first lady.
oh my goodness, and that's one of the best feelings that a person in leadership can have, to know that if a member was called on unexpectedly to speak about something, you're solid in it. And I know your heart. with what you were sharing about your children and, being asked to teach Sunday school. My reason for asking, honestly, let's just be completely transparent. You are passionate about your children, period. You care about the level of intelligence, their means of academia. It's above par. And I'm so heavy on that because when you're working with people who have children, especially for me, in my case, I don't have children, and then to have to explain to a parent that their children, they need to be engaged a little bit more, but to then have a parent who is what needs to be done. What else are we going to be working on? Are you doing another project with the kids? Being hands-on, you embraced motherhood like boom, 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 and jumped all over everything. You know what I'm saying? And so teachers love parents that are, really in tune and want to know, is there anything more? How can I make my kid this, that, the other? Before I left home, I heard one of our, it's a student that she just got a straight A report card. Then yesterday I saw where another one of our young adults is attending Cal State Dominguez, and I don't think there are any A's or B's left for anyone to get because she got them all in her senior year. I'm just shout out to Offset Oliver. I'm so proud of her. Oh my goodness. It's amazing, in the case, the class load that she carried this semester, over the top. But that's because people believe in the kids that, you build them up so that they feel like they can take on the world. And I feel that you considered, okay, so there's cognitive development, there's social emotional. And sometimes social emotional is even more important. It kind of ranges there with the cognitive, because if a kid doesn't feel good about themselves, they're not even going to try to think higher than where they are. So you have social emotional development, you have cognitive development, there's physical development, and so and then gross and fine motor, skills and things and such. I feel like the topics that you're covering in these journals are going to cause people to, once it starts building up one area, it's going to filter over. And then we cannot negate the spiritual aspect of it all, and the first thing I read when I saw that, because I've been thinking of shirts and stuff for our church and things like that, God over everything. And when I'm writing in my head, that's my thought. God over everything. Heaven over hashtags. I don't do things, like I said last week, I don't do things for the likes. I do it because it's right. I do it because someone might need it at that particular moment. And I'm not, and if we're driven by likes, well, we'll never please God if that be the case, because we'll be too busy trying to please man. And I think you did an excellent job of trying to hone in our thoughts. Redirect your vision. Get your eyes back on God. I think that's amazing, Erin.
Thank you so much.
I think that's amazing. So are there any other topics that might be on the horizon, or we gonna
want to write one specifically for teens. So that may be in the works sometime at the end of the year next year.
Absolutely. And you can always continue to just add to it and, put out revised versions of it, and people will buy it. I could really see it becoming a textbook for somebody. You might need to throw it to a Becca Books down in Pensacola, Florida. Yeah, because it's a completely religious curriculum, and for those that are in Christian counseling, it's so many avenues, and I'm thinking, I don't know, my brain just really gets to going, and I don't claim to know everything, but I love being able to, hey, I want you to meet somebody, and, whatever happens, Um, but I have one last question for you. How does it feel to be a published author, Erin?
It feels amazing. And what's funny, this was never in my eyesight. I didn't see this. I tried maybe 3 times to enter something into Chicken Soup for the Soul,
Oh,
and that didn't work out. I got close 1 time.
uh
And
huh.
then when this came about, it just I was afraid to push the publish button. I'm gonna be honest. I really wanted to push the button, but I was nervous, and then I said, "Okay, let me push the button." And then I said, "Okay, now I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'll just let it sit on Amazon." And I said, "Nope, you are hiding it under a bushel. Stop hiding it under a
Yes,
bushel." So it's been amazing. The support has been amazing. My church family, you guys are amazing. My biological family is amazing. Um, Church family, previous and current, absolutely amazing. I love everybody. And for anybody that is, you know, wondering how they can ask more questions, I'm open. So if you want to ask me anything, I'm always open to have a conversation about the book, or just let me know what you think. If you can, if I can improve in any way, just let me know.
absolutely. Absolutely. While you're talking, I am actually putting the links. Um, that one might look a little big, you guys, but it's there. You guys can click on it if you're watching from YouTube. It's there in the link, and I'm gonna go over to Facebook real fast and try to type that in and put that there. You want to give any shout outs to anyone that's on that you see in the comment section? If you can see it to the side.
Oh, I see my bestie, Joy. Hi to you, and hi, Mama Janine. Hi to my mom again. She made me, y'all. She made who I am. I cannot. I am unapologetically Mary's daughter. Those of you that
Absolutely.
know her know why I say that. Everything that I am that I try to give to my girls is because of my mom. And the
Aww.
parent that she was, my sister, and my absolute heart is on. And I just thank her for all her support at all times.
Absolutely.
I have an amazing team. I have a team, y'all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My incredibly talented niece, 1KGSX on Instagram. She did the covers for both books. She
Awesome.
also created the logo that you will see on Amazon. I also have a business logo.
Oh, look what your mommy said. Oh, she's so sweet.
I also have a business logo, and that was created by Zion Design Works. That's Zion with an X. Mr. Xavier Fuqua. He is amazing as well. My husband, shout out to Mr. Gipson. He made me a
Aw.
whole website,
Hey.
millionairestudy.com. So he's awesome as well. He's my best friend and my
Thank you
supporter.
for saying that. Let me put that up too. Thank you.
Yeah, the name came about from a conversation that he and I were having, and was like, well, what should I name this book? And we started throwing things around, and he and I started giggling. And he said, "Money over everything," and I said, "Heaven don't pass
He would say that. He would definitely say that.
cash." And I said, "Heaven don't pass cash," and that was it. So
Aw. Okay.
it's been a ride, but it's been amazing. And shout out to
That's
my
how God does us. He just takes us on a journey, and we trust him, and we trust God, and we ride the wave.
I love my entire Sunday school class. I wish they could be on television. They are so fun. They are so much fun.
I'm really looking forward to tomorrow because everybody's gonna be here, and I honestly think that's aside from Olivia Joy, I think that's gonna be the first time that everybody's
Together.
been in the same room.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. So tomorrow's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be sweet and it's gonna be special. All right. Oh, look at that. I love the Gibsons, powerful Christian couple, and they are authentic people. I need you to know that. We have so much love in the comment section tonight. I want to say thank you to all of the special guests that came to support. Erin this evening in this beautiful endeavor. The books are amazing. Some people barely handle putting out one book, but you made good use of your time, and I feel God is going to honor that because you definitely put heaven over hashtags. You definitely put God first over everything, and your children are doing the book as well. You mentioned to me that Darren is she's doing hers. How's she coming along with it? Is she liking it?
They're enjoying it. They're enjoying it. It's just funny because when they came in the mail and said, "Mommy, this is the book you've been working on," because it's different when you hold it in your hand,
Yes.
as opposed to the computer screen. So it's been a blessing. I'm excited for everybody to take part. Hopefully, get something out of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But Erin, this has been it's been a great conversation, and it's been an honor to speak with you today about heaven over hashtags, and I'm really excited to see greater things to come from this merchandise, all kind of stuff. So please, everyone, go check out. I want to see some web traffic on that website. I need you guys to get Erin Gipson's name trending on Amazon. I don't care how many times you got to type it in and click enter. Just so, I'm serious. Listen, tell Johnny I've been paying attention to algorithms, and I'm learning, how you can really, get the system going if you build up the traffic. So I need you guys to build up the traffic on heaven over hashtags. She's also on Instagram under the same name. Hashtag heaven over hashtags. So make sure you guys go check her out and patronize. Someone mentioned in the comment section, yes, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Come on, Brown CPNN. Marketing executive extraordinaire added to the team.
That is my sister, and her son is a marketing major. So
There you have it. There you have it. The team is built. She is ready to go. She is available for conferences and.
this semester, congratulations! I'm so absolutely proud of you, friend. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
It really is surreal. I'm a villager and I'm on the show. So it's really
It's
fun.
well deserved. It's well deserved. I knew that this needed to happen. I didn't want to wait until next year because I know how fast Amazon can get things fulfilled, get those orders out. And if someone was interested in wanting to get that book out there and give it to family members and give it to friends, it's a great gift to give. It's a great just because gift, So if you feel like the gift isn't going to get there right before Christmas, I promise you it's still going to be the gift that keeps on giving. And I already know she's going to have more and more information available building on top of these principles, because there are definitely some great biblical principles in the book, but I want you to get it. I didn't want to give everything away. I didn't dig deep like I did last week on that other, because I really want the prompts to speak for themselves, and I want you to internalize what it means to you. Remember, this is a journal, and it's between you and God, and this is a moment for you to be completely transparent about what's really important. If you've been kind of like me, trying to make sure that keep the main thing. Don't ever get so high and so up on a cliff, or don't ever feel like you so good that you're no earthly good. And that's why I'm gonna be completely honest. I thank God for when things go wrong, because it just reminds me that I still have a lot to learn. And so one thing about this the whole idea of conversations with Fran really hones around the idea of there are plenty of things to talk about. There are plenty of things that are on our hearts, and sometimes we just need someone who's willing to say it. And then sometimes, no matter how big or small the platform, what are you using it for? I feel like if I continue to use the platform the way that I'm supposed to, God is going to do the rest. God is going to make sure that things end up in the hands of who it needs to be in the hands of, even if it's simply for me to sharpen my skills and learn. And so Conversations with Fran is a place for those that have zeal, that have knowledge, and they are trying to do their best to reach someone, if it's only one. And so I thank you for joining the show this evening. A bigger thank you again to our guest, Sister Erin Gipson. Congratulations on the endeavor of the 2 journals. My prayer is that your family be blessed. I pray that you lack nothing for the time that you spent with God and trying to enrich His people. I pray that your team and your family, your personal tribe, will be stronger than ever, and that no matter what happens, we all prosper together. It's been wonderful, and I believe next week my show falls, I think, on Christmas Eve. So, I know what I'm doing, but you'll just have to tune in and see. I know what I'm going to do. You'll see me next week. So, Merry Christmas to you all, and to all, a good night. Thank you for joining. Bye.